Thanks a lot for introducing me, and thanks a lot to ULP for running the pitch competition second year in a row. This is a very interesting and a very innovative approach from AbbVie. We use golden tickets across several of our therapeutic areas, and I wanted to make sure that we were able to utilize that kind of a thought process to bring out innovators and innovative concepts within the aesthetic space. So Orange County obviously is a hotbed for aesthetics. No better place to start from here. But if you're listening to this seminar from anywhere outside of Orange County, outside of California, please feel free to apply and be part of this innovative pitch competition, with which you can get a 1 full year of lab space at ULP. So again, I'm going to preface my presentation by saying please apply. I'll walk you through AbbVie in general, and then medical aesthetics a little bit in specific. I wanted to kind of showcase what AbbVie is and what AbbVie does, and then kind of walk you through our deal process and how we look at deals, and what kind of deals do we look at in general, and how big of a footprint we have globally. So with that, let's start. So again, AbbVie is it's a patient-focused specialty biopharma company. We were spun out of Abbott Labs in 2013, and this is our 11th year as an independent company. We spun out with one product, Humira, and at this point, we have several billion-dollar products in the market space. So it has been a steady climb for AbbVie, again, while serving patients and bringing in innovative new medicines for them. What I'm going to talk about is the external focus, right? So how we innovate externally and how we operate externally. So yeah, external innovation at AbbVie is, it's a team sport. We are made up of different functions. Search and evaluation, where I reside. I am the head of search and evaluation aesthetics. I also run the operations functions for search and evaluations, including all of the partnership events which happen for external for AbbVie. We have BD&A group, which primarily helps with the transactions and negotiations of a deal, which could be any deal, could be M&A, it could be a option deal, license deal. And in case of an option and license deal, a global alliance is the next function, kind of comes in and manages the post-deal process, where we have multiple joint steering committees and teams talking as part of the license process. We also have access to AbbVie Ventures as part of our global R&D, early discovery, and we are a venture investment. We do have a fund, and we invest in seed and Series A companies for all of our therapeutic areas, and we definitely would like to invest in something which is more of a platform technology versus a single asset technology. Our areas of interest, and like I said, I'll go over all of them, but focus on aesthetics at the end. But we do immunology. We make Humira. For those who don't know, we made Humira, which is a blockbuster drug, and now we have Skyrizi as another asset. So those are our assets. We have strong leadership position in oncology, and we are trying to build a very active pipeline in solid tumor, as evidenced by our acquisition of ImmunoGen last year. Neuroscience, we are again looking at both neuropsych and neurodegenerative diseases. So and obviously for migraine as well. So there's something which we have a good overlap with Botox as a therapeutic agent, and other indications, Qulipta and other drugs which we have for migraine. We are a large franchise in eye care. Obviously, we're trying to grow that one as well. And aesthetics is what we want to do, is kind of drive for regenerative products across the aesthetics franchise, kind of move away from devices, see what biologics and what opportunities we have from for long-term aesthetics play. I'll talk more about aesthetics later. One thing that I want to point out, the culture and the mindset, what we have at AbbVie is we have, of the deals which we did in the past 5 years, 70% of our preclinical, and if you're a medical device company, think about this as like a concept deal or a feasibility phase. and then the rest of it was kind of spread out across different stages. And you will see that the marketed ones are fairly small ones, about 10 deals a year. 78% are for preclinical and discovery combined. And then here on the right, and this is publicly available, some of the deals and venture investments which we did in 23 and 24. This is not an exhaustive list. There's more. As we constantly announce new deals every month. This is a good chart. I like to show this one. We can see the trend. We are a our late stage pipeline is externally sourced. I mean, 80%, the significant amount of our late stage pipelines has been externally sourced. I mean, and again, this would have been deals which were done in 16, 17, 18, and now have come to phase three. So it is a long, it's a long process. We are, we are in it for long term, and we definitely look at these assets outside compared to the industry registration composition. This is what they have done. We are a little bit ahead of the industry. If you think about, from acquired and in license is coming to 66%. We are at 80%. Also, this is reflected in our revenues of our 2023 actual revenues were $54 billion, of which you can see about 62% of the revenue came in from acquired through BD. So BD, all the previous three slides, kind of what it points out is BD is a strong component of our research and pipeline, and we rely heavily on external innovation, and thus we rely on companies and partners such as yourself to work on cutting edge science and bringing in AbbVie, and then using our strong R&D footprint to take it further. So let's talk about how the deal flow works. I'm gonna have two slides. This one is without aesthetics. The next one is with aesthetics. But overall, this is these are 23 numbers. Ignore the 21, 22. These are 23 numbers. About 2,400 assets come in to us through different sources, through banks, through outreach, through partnerships at AbbVie.com. Through venture funds, through universities, through incubators such as ULP. We get several assets inbound, of which we probably do less than 10%. We sign a CDA with. We enter into a non-binding term sheet with only 50, and we entered into contract negotiations with 15 of them, and then deal executions on 15. So it's not like, the one thing to keep in mind is the contract negotiation goes on longer. So the 15 deals which were executed in 23, the contract negotiations would have started in 22, and the contract negotiations started in 23 will be executed in 24. So there is a bit of an overlap, but this gives you an idea of how many how many deals we go through, how many kind of assets we go through to sign 15 deals. And then the picture for medical aesthetics is also even more rare, so to say. We had about 330 opportunities and only signed one deal last year. I mean, going through the funnel, again, very few confidential evaluations under CDA. Very few even made sense to send them a term sheet after the evaluation. And then obviously the contract negotiation, deal execution kind of falls off, tapers off after that. But this kind of gives you a flavor of how the opportunities come in. I mentioned that we are significantly large investment in R&D. So again, whatever external innovations we bring in, we do have a very large footprint from an R&D perspective. This kind of gives you a flavor of how we were able to grow R&D spend from when we spun off as a independent company in 13 to last year. How many programs you were able to bring in from a clinical perspective, how many billion-dollar products we have, disease space which we have expanded into, a number of patients who have benefited from our medicine. So again, this is a significant progress. Again, this is not just aesthetics; this is the entire company. But it is a company which is forward-looking and looking for, looking from a patient perspective. We have about 14,000 employees all over the world, with strong obviously strong footprint in the US, Germany, and Japan. All right, so this is how we kind of do the diligence process, right? So on the left, you will see what we have, right? Internal expertise of what we have, and then on the right, you will see how we have done different deals. So we obviously are extremely large clinical network, as you saw. We have run about 80 trials, right? 80 trials a year, probably more than that. And we are able to accelerate the timeline, manage regulatory interactions. We have regulatory footprint in 70 countries across the world. We manage that interaction. Have expertise in the IND enabling study and the IND process. And then we obviously look at a large discovery group which looks at novel targets, undruggable targets, and screening technologies, ADCs, um, and antibody drug conjugate, and other technologies which are just coming up right now. So we are constantly looking at those technologies and then creating new models, new targets, and new platforms from working with academia. So we you know we, any it can come from innovation can come from anywhere. We are open to all sorts of innovation coming from any space in the industry. We do partnerships and collaborations. So research collaboration is something which we have ability to, not a whole lot, but we do some research collaboration. We license the technologies. We do M&A. Obviously, acquisitions is a strong forte for us, and then we do uh, venture investment, company creations with venture funds and academics. So we have the ability to spin out companies as well. Again, I'm assuming most of the attendees here are very early stage. So M&A may not be in the near horizon, but licensing, partnerships, collaboration, venture would be something for that. And we encourage you guys to apply and send information to us as well. The areas of diligence, again, if you think about the previous funnel which I had shown before, like 2,400 assets, and about 220 went into the confidentiality, and then we did the non-binding term sheet. So all of the functions, as needed, stage appropriate functions would come in and assess the do the diligence across the board. So every function has assigned people who work on diligences. They come together. The search and evaluation, my group, that they all kind of bring the teams together and evaluate and discuss the technologies and the data package to come up with a comprehensive view with which we can move forward to the next stage. We bring in legal, we bring in med affairs, commercial is a big component of it, so we bring all of those assets in. So what AbbVie likes and kind of also translates to what we like from aesthetics perspective. We are looking for novel, first in class, and differentiated best in class therapeutics, which are aligned with our strategy. We are looking for a robust in vivo data from a preclinical perspective, and then looking at a mechanism of action and a proof of concept. If you don't have proof of concept, we would look at the MOA and the science behind the asset and the disease etiology to see if the science, if the MOA can bridge the gap to that particular proof of concept. But we obviously want to see drug-like properties, and we do diligence for manufacturability and scale up and reproduce and see if this is something which can be made on a global perspective. And obviously, we would look for a good IP position differentiation story. Again, this is kind of our internal expertise, so we can bring an asset in and then use our functions to augment and develop that asset from ourselves. So, discovery and legal IP would come in, kind of leverage door capabilities, tech capabilities. We could have the development aspect, CMC, regulatory, all of those could augment what the company has done so far and take it further. And at the same time, obviously we have a global powerhouse in commercial, med affairs, in other areas in the world where we could launch products. So we use our synergies across the board, but we also make sure that before we kind of do the non-binding term sheet diligence, these all functions come together and create a comprehensive view of what this particular asset is worth and what is it capable of doing for us, in conjunction with the entire company and then entire TA. So that's what we look at. We all come together and take a look at it. Um, and then lastly, just want to talk about the aesthetics component of this. So Allergan Aesthetics is part of AbbVie. We have five strong pillars in which we operate. So we have toxins, which is Botox, the fillers, the Juvederm line of fillers, which we have for our for lifting and smoothing and volumizing contouring, body contouring, our cool sculpting equipment, which is using cryolipolysis. We also have acquired recently a company called Resonic or Soliton with a product called Resonic, which is a rapid acoustic pulse for cellulite reduction and kind of breaking down fibrous septae. Plastics and regenerative medicine, along with the implants, we have a alloderm acellular dermal matrix product, and we're looking at regenerative aspect of medicine as well, from that aspect. And we have a skincare line called Skin Medica, and we're always looking for new ingredients, hero products, new mode of administration, new modalities from a skin perspective. And then the next slide will kind of break it down a little bit more into where we see our space, right? So again, for if you think, what I want to kind of point out is, like, if you think about our parent company, AbbVie, and how AbbVie looks for and diligences and kind of debates and discusses how to bring an asset in to our portfolio to serve our patients. Similarly, for Elegant Aesthetics, we look for debate and discuss and bring in assets which are going to be novel and beneficial to the customers and our patients. So that being said, from a toxins perspective, we're looking at novel toxin engineering. We're looking at modulating the neurotransmitter release in selective kind of neuronal population and extracellular matrix production and processing. So this is where we're taking the science deeper into what is happening at the neuromuscular junction when the botulinum toxin is released, and how do we cleave it, and how do we engineer to optimize that function, and obviously looking for larger molecules and different delivery methods, if possible, for that. So that's something which we're interested in. From a facial aesthetics, we want to move from the lifting and the volumizing aspect to going to a regenerative aspect where we can see the body's own natural tissue regenerate and kind of prevent the signs of aging. And we want to approach that from that perspective. And then from opportunities to add the experience, our injectors are customers, and we want to make sure that we provide the right delivery mechanism, the right opportunity for them to deliver our products and have a better experience when they're treating their patients. From a plastics regenerative side, we're looking for synthetic and biohybrid meshes, sensation restoration, post-mastectomy, more make sure we have some nerve agent, nerve grafts and other molecules which could optimize the sensation restoration, address cellulite, skin laxity, dermal thinning, and then look at the polymers and tissue-based MOA, which would help out with, again, regenerative, kind of facial aesthetics and plastics. We're looking more towards regenerative aspects versus kind of having um, a a device which is just implanted and lives. So we want our body's natural regenerative aspect again. And we're also exploring cell and gene therapies to support the regenerative aspect. Um, and then from a skin, look like I said, we are focusing on hero ingredient, which can, which help the skin of, specific for skin of color, immunocompromised skin. And when I say hero ingredient, it's a ingredient which can go across multiple product lines with a strong MOA as shown in ex vivo or in vitro models, looking for growth for hair growth opportunities. So this is something where it's a high unmet need, as you all know, and we're trying to find assets for that particular space. And then, kind of lastly, we're looking at opportunities for specific growth in China and see how we would go forward with that particular area. Again, it's a large market, and we have a global footprint to take these products over to China as well. So this is something which we are actively doing and looking to find new products in China. So I think this concludes what I had to present, and I would like to have a very informal discussion with the group over here. I see a few questions which have come up, and want to have a back and forth, and as many questions as I can answer, non-confidentially. I'll go ahead and answer those. So with that, I shall hand it over to Emily.
All right. Chinmay, do you have any questions in your chat box? Sometimes people directly message you because I don't see any in mine.
Oh, okay. Well, I saw two chats. I see one from Zori, and it's a best way to contact you with an innovative therapy in dermatology. I mean, my email address is the best way to contact me. And if you don't know who to contact at AbbVie, you can reach to partnerships@abbvie.com. My team manages that email address as well, so they'll come to one of us, and we'll be able to send it out. So Emily, if you can send my email to the participants, that'd be great. I guess I have a question for the audience. Is anybody interested in applying for the golden ticket competition, where they can where they can get space at ULP? I guess not that many in the. Oh, somebody raised their hand. Okay, cool.
We have Shanghao asks, you mentioned AbbVie is a biopharma company. Does AbbVie still look at small molecule in the preclinical stages?
Yes. Short and sweet answer. We do.
Great. Callie, do you have a question, or was that more of a I'm applying to golden ticket?
It was more, I just realized that it's still up. Yeah, it was more of I will probably be applying. But I was just typing my question. It was relating to that first question. What about drug discovery technologies?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have a drug discovery group in our discovery organization, and they obviously are looking for assets and platforms which would help them with the discovery. So that's definitely an area, but it will probably be the way I understand, would be a tool to discover kind of new products. So it won't be something which would be we would be commercializing, but it would be for internal lab purposes. Yeah, definitely we'll be looking at that.
Great, thank
Can
you.
I just ask a question about hair growth?
Yeah, sure.
You mentioned that as one of the indications. So I'm trying to develop a novel therapy, an androgen degrader for hormonal hair and skin conditions, and we want to generate POC in male pattern baldness, androgenic alopecia, topically. And this is a preclinical stage asset. Is this something that's of interest to?
Yeah, it falls squarely in our bucket. Again, obviously has to have a better efficacy than what minoxidil does, and we'll definitely take a look at it.
And you mentioned again it was partnership, so that's not your direct. What's your email?
I mean, let me just type my direct email here.
Thank you.
I'll send it to everybody.
I'll also include Chinmay's email in the post-event email follow-up, so you'll be able to receive the recording, Chinmay's email, as well as a copy of the presentation slide if Allergan is okay with that.
Yeah. I think I see another question about non-FDA regulated neuroregenerative products. Are we talking about oral supplements, Alan?
No, I'm sorry. These are olfactory stimulative products. And you may have seen some of the studies come out recently about improvement in memory by rotating novel olfactory stimulation?
Yeah, that probably may not be a sweet spot for us. But again, if you send it to me, I definitely will. I mean, I'm not the neuro expert here. I can send it to my neuro team and see if they're interested in this.
Thank you.
I have another question. So the project that I am involved with right now is on oncology using a small molecular. It's a really, really early stage discovery. Can I still apply for the demo, or it's not qualified?
Yeah, I think from the golden aesthetics, the golden ticket is for kind of aesthetics. But if you think that the molecule has a potential for any aesthetics implication, definitely go ahead and apply. And then if you want from a partnership perspective, I can also introduce you to the oncology. I mean, I can send your information to oncology and see if they're interested in that. But from a golden ticket, I would go ahead and apply if it if you believe that it has a potential for the areas I went over, skin regeneration, hair growth, any kind of a regenerative aspect from a body and a face perspective. I definitely would go ahead and apply.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, to tag on to that, ULP does offer we host another pitch competition called Pitch Launch Grow. We run that every single year since 2021. So if you are a life science or a medical device med tech company, we do have that pitch competition for you. And again, you would receive a 1-year sponsored ULP lab bench at our facility in Irvine. But unfortunately, this year the applications have just closed for PLG last Sunday. So I would recommend just staying updated with ULP when we release the applications again for next year. So be on the lookout for that as well. Does anyone have any additional questions?
Yeah, I do. Chinmay, thank you so much for presenting. It's very helpful. I think one of the most interesting thing is because you said AbbVie looks at preclinical opportunities. I'm just wondering what is actually then the data, I guess, that you would require to begin seriously, I guess, in getting in discussion with you to reach out. Was it something, say, after getting animal model data, after human model data, or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, start reaching out as early as possible. And then what we like to see is a plan. So even if you have, long-term studies going on, and then if that's a readout, that gives us does for us is creates a natural um, decision point for us. So we can wait for those studies to show up and finish, and then we would be able to kind of decide on where to go forward. So I wouldn't say we have a specific point that we would not talk. I would say it would be better to reach out early, and share what you're doing. And again, I always say this, that going under diligence is like getting free consulting. Even the questions we ask are going to guide you about where we think and where we think the product could go or where it should not go. So those are things we would be able to say, help you out. So again, running a company and running programs are a 2 or 3 full-time jobs combined, and then obviously going under diligence with a company like us where we bombard you with questions, another job. So I can sense that some companies are reluctant to do that, but I would say it would be very helpful to understand it, understand the understanding of where our thought process is and what we'd like to see. Any questions?
One brief question. You talked about the deal sort of the composition. I didn't call, or maybe I missed it. Did you talk about how many were preclinical or in aesthetics, separate from the other numbers? I think you said about 10 or 11 total.
Well, 70% of the deals were preclinical, like
I see.
assets coming in. So it's definitely early. We focus on preclinical, but we look at everything. So either the composition changes again every year. I mean, so we look at long-term trends versus what we do right now. But majority of our partnerships were preclinical. 70% were let's say if you include the discovery ones, 80% were between 2019 and 2023. 80% were done on preclinical and discovery assets, and then obviously we have we have the infrastructure to take those deals forward.
So the preferred design is to acquire the IP or acquire essentially the asset, or to partner, co-develop.
It'll be every single asset will be treated individually, and every single asset will be discussed and debated individually. So we don't have like this, then this. It'll be more around, we'll look at it individually and see what fits the other party and what fits us, and we would discuss it accordingly.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Yeah. And I see another question: open to not directly focus on aesthetics, or does it have to be focused? Or we prefer aesthetics, as Emily mentioned. There's another pitch which ULP runs. This is how I got the idea. Obviously, Pitch Launch Grow is a great pitch which ULP runs, and I wanted to kind of use that for aesthetics. So kind of two good ideas came together: the golden ticket, which AbbVie sponsors across the world for lab space for new companies, and then the Pitch Launch Grow, which ULP does. Like, and I have access to both of them with Karen at ULP, and then golden ticket, and I was able to say, why don't we do a golden ticket for aesthetics? So that being said, what we like to see, I always say that just because your first indication may not be aesthetics, there are potential, like wound healing companies sometimes look for models in aesthetics, and they might be looking at something like that. Some of the devices are not really made for aesthetics at first, but then probably could be used for aesthetics. Electromagnetic stimulation kind of devices are some of the examples like that. So there is obviously an adjacency play, and I would say apply. And if you're not selected, apply for Pitch Launch Grow next year, and obviously can talk to us before, for any questions you have for this.